Straight ahead this morning on Face the State, college students and COVID concerns. We're joined by the president of UConn to talk about what's being done to keep students safe. And children are finally back in the classrooms, but is it really working? We'll speak to East Hartford Superintendent Nate Quinnell. And Connecticut's kid governor is hard at work despite the pandemic. She joins us this morning with some of her ideas during these challenging times. That's all straight ahead this Sunday morning, September 6, 2020, on Face the State.
From Eyewitness News, Connecticut's most watched local political program, this is Face the State.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us for this edition of Face the State. I'm Susan Raff. After a very long 6 months, kids are finally returning to school. From colleges and students to universities, kindergartners, you name it. Everyone is going back, but it is not normal. There has certainly been a lot of adjustments over the past few weeks. And joining us to talk more about how things are going at UConn is the university president, Thomas Katsouleas. Thomas Katsouleas, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Susan. It's good to join you.
It's nice to see you. I think I saw you last week at Central Connecticut State University. And
That's
a lot
right.
of colleges and universities were all planning to try to get back to some type of education, but it is definitely different, isn't it?
It is. We moved in about 3 weeks ago. We had a very successful move-in weekend. 5,000 students came in to our residential halls. Normally we'd have 12,000 beds, but we're de-densified. Those students spent 2 weeks in quarantine for the privilege of having an in-person residential college experience. And I'm really proud of them, and they did very well. And on Monday, as you said, we opened in a mixed modality. So we're offering classes. There's a mix of in-person, online, and hybrid. And we got off to a good start this week with classes. I went around campus talking to students on Monday and Tuesday. And what I found amusing, at least, is there's some similarity to past years in that new students tend to be lost the first day of class. And what I saw was students who were lost finding their classroom. And also in the library, I found students who were lost in cyberspace trying to find how to connect to their online classroom. So there's some commonality with past years right there.
I know that a lot of parents were disappointed because there were fewer students, half capacity for housing. And also
Right.
Your dining halls are takeout only. How is that going to work when it gets colder and students may not be, their rooms may not be close to the dining halls?
Yeah, I mean, I remember our calendar this fall ends with Thanksgiving break. So, while I'm a former Californian and new to Connecticut, based on last year, I don't think it's going to be extreme weather before Thanksgiving, and I think they'll be okay. And of course, we have bus services from everywhere. So if they had to bus to their dining hall, they could.
I don't want to lose sight of what's important, and that is the safety of students. And I know you're doing testing. I know that there have been cases at UConn. In fact, there are cases at colleges all over the country. I'm sure you're not surprised by that. It's something you probably expected.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, we did testing of every student coming in. So we had 5,000 tests. We were very pleased. We had 8 positives of those students who arrived on campus testing positive, and we immediately put those students into isolation. And we also tested all of our returning faculty and staff, 3,000 faculty and staff, and we had 2 positives. I'm very pleased that we have not seen new positives among the faculty and staff, which is a good sign. We have seen a cluster of positives among the students, and it's just been persistent. And it started in one area with athletics, and we've been working very hard to tamp it down. It's now about 1.5% of the population, so it's slightly more than what we see for the state of Connecticut overall. So it's not alarming, but it's very concerning. So we're very focused on that, and we're battling the disease with humility and determination, is what I would say.
Right, and I think one of the concerns that a lot of parents have, and I am one of them, I dropped my own daughter off at college a little over a week ago. And I have to tell you, I'm almost waiting for the phone to ring or get an email that, she's going to come home, that they're going to send students home. And I think any parent probably has that kind of anxiety.
Yeah, yeah. Congratulations, by the way. And I also have a daughter who's a freshman in college. It's an exciting time for them and frustrating, I think, for many of them. In my daughter's case, a public school in California, they've decided to go online, and she's terribly disappointed. So what's interesting is I welcomed students and parents at move-in. The overwhelming message from all of them was of gratitude. They recognize that there are a lot of universities across the country that are not giving students the opportunity for a residential experience, that they've just decided to go all online. They recognize that it is a privilege and a responsibility to keep the place safe. And so the response on the part of the students has been amazing. They have the compliance with wearing masks and physical distancing has been terrific. We have not had the large parties that you see on TV coverage across the nation. I think the parties that we've had have been 11 students. The largest party we've seen off campus is 6. And so it's kind of remarkable. And you might ask, why is that? Well, these students they're determined to stay safe, but they're also determined to help us stay open. So I think there's an overwhelming peer pressure. If somebody wants to plan a party, they're likely to hear within a few students of planning that, no, don't do that. I don't want to be sent home. We do have a contingency plan, as everyone does in the state of Connecticut. It was required by the governor of when would we shut down. And for us, it's at, when we reach our isolation bed capacity. So if we reach 300 cases, our contingency plan is to shut down and send healthy students home, take care of the sick students.
I would imagine it's almost like things are changing all the time, and you're constantly reevaluating how you're going forward. In most universities, including UConn, students will go home after Thanksgiving, but we just don't know what's going to happen then, right?
Exactly. What I've told our leadership team and constantly is all we can do is relentless preparation coupled with the flexibility to pivot in the face of new information at any moment. So that's kind of how we've approached it. And but what we're doing to keep students safe and our faculty and staff and the community safe is the standard approach. We do extensive testing, isolation, contact tracing, and quarantine. So we're using that approach. It's slowed the spread. So we see this cluster. We don't see the hundreds of cases within 2 days that others have seen, but we do see this persistent cluster. And so we're in a struggle right now.
Before I let you go, and I know that the financial concern is certainly not as important as the safety, but there's no question that universities have taken a huge financial hit. You have fewer students.
Yeah.
I know UConn, you canceled several sports programs earlier on in the year. How do you think this is going to play out for UConn and other colleges?
Yeah, no, the COVID as a whole is a huge financial impact for higher education, particularly residential colleges. As you said, Susan, all of our decisions are guided by public health and safety of our students and our staff, faculty, and the surrounding community. There's no question about that. Nothing affects our decision other than those things. But what we're hoping is that our state will be there for us after this is all over. And what we're facing is the largest deficits in the nearly 140-year history of the university. And that's similar to residential colleges across the country, actually. We're not unique in that. And what we're hoping is that we can get support from the state to bridge us over to the other side of the COVID pandemic, because we have a viable business model at that point. And it would be a shame to let 1 year of losses cause retrenchment of a great university and really decades of positive movement and investment on the part of the state.
President Katsouleas, I want to thank you for joining us, and we wish you lots of luck in your mission to keep everyone safe at your university, students, staff, and faculty, and everybody.
Thank you for telling the story, and good luck with your daughter.
Thank you very much.